Hey folks, Gary here. Happy Wednesday morning to you. I hope your day's starting off just fantastic. What a great day to be alive. Every day we walk with Jesus is a great day. And it's Wednesday, so make sure you get your garbage cans out if you live in Whitewood or wherever you live if it's garbage day. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. We're talking about barrenness and how God brings life out of things that are barren, how he brings greatness out of things that are barren. And when we talk about barrenness, obviously, we go to Abraham and Sarah because that's a big deal in the Bible. Abraham and Sarah, they're unable to have children. Now, we know that happens. Biologically, that just happens sometimes. Doesn't make anybody less of anything by any means. It just happens. And Abraham and Sarah really want to have a child. See, God has promised a lot of things to Abraham. Now, Abraham is like, dude, you've given me so much. He didn't say dude, that'd be disrespectful. Lord, you have given me so much. You've blessed me so much, but who's going to inherit this? He's looking for a child to inherit this. And God promises him that, but God promises so much more. He says that your descendants will outnumber the sand on the shore. Like you're not gonna be able to count them. That's how many descendants you're going to have. He says your descendants are going to be a blessing. That's through your line, the whole entire world will be blessed. And we know that is Jesus later on. So there's a lot hanging on Abraham and Sarah having a child. But there's an issue. They don't have one yet. In Genesis 18, the Lord makes this promise again to Abraham. And this is how unrealistic this promise is from a human point of view. So Genesis 18, verse 10, the Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. And Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and advanced in years. Like they are really old, okay? The way of a woman had ceased to be with Sarah. In other words, there's no possible way for her to get pregnant. It can't possibly happen. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, after I am worn out and my Lord is old, shall I have this pleasure? And then of course, verse 13, the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh when I said, shall I indeed bear a child now that I'm old? Is there anything too hard for the Lord? So I love that part because, Sarah's like, I didn't laugh. And God says, yes, you did. You laughed because it's unbelievable. But God is true to his promises and he brings greatness out of barrenness. He can bring life out of barrenness. God's not restricted by anything. And so in Genesis 21, 1-6, it reads, the Lord kept his word and did for Sarah exactly what he had promised. He did for Sarah exactly what he had promised. She became pregnant and she gave birth to a son for Abraham in his old age. You know what I love about this? Is it says the Lord did exactly for Sarah. It was for Sarah and Abraham, but Sarah's not forgotten in this by any means. God did it for her and for him. But he also did it for you and I, because there's greatness that came out of that barrenness. There was something amazing that came out of that struggle. And it's Jesus. Salvation for you and for me, the blessing for the whole entire world. So I'm not saying God's going to do that in your life, but what I'm saying is this. God brings life out of barrenness. So if there's an area of your life you say, I don't know if anything can possibly come out of this. If God says it can, it can. And you got to trust God in that. You got to trust that God will work all things out according to when he plans to do it, because he is faithful and he is good. So God can bring life and greatness out of the barrenness of your life. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow.